Hello and welcome. This is the Newport County versus Notts County final game of the season 2016-2017. Saturday the 6th of May. This is the report by Mark Vickery from Rodney Parade. Pre-match thoughts. County need Hartlepool's result to be safe but must adjust without striker Samuel, and so important today they are bold and disciplined but mentally strong. Conditions: sunny spells and keen breeze, pitch bouncy after drying out and erratic in parts. Summing up our performance in one statement: courageous, persistent and stood up to massive pressure. Turning point: Notts County substitutions lifted their game. County were forced to adjust up front, with Alex Samuel suffering from a hamstring injury, allowing Lionel John Lewis to make his first starting appearance after knee ligament injury done in the pre-season. County made another defensive change to play 5-3-2, with Scott Bennett returned to central defence in place of Sean Rigg, who was on the bench. Notts County started marginally the better, shifting some direct balls forward to use former Premiership duo Shola Amiobi and John Stead. On 5 minutes, Stead picked up on a loose ball near the edge of the area and dragged a shot wide of the left post after cutting inside. County eased their way into the game with some penetrative moves down the left flank to test right back Clackstone. County had a decent opportunity to forge ahead on 12 minutes when John Lewis tricked his way past Clackstone and drove to the byline. His low cross into the 6-yard area looked certain to be turned in by Randall, but Dixon denied him with a well-timed challenge. County gained confidence with John Lewis doing well with some left-sided runs to stretch the Notts defence. On 15 minutes, County had a good situation with Pipe getting forward to support, and his deep cross was retrieved by Bird and his chip to the back post just eluded John Lewis. Notts County came alive with a couple of decent moves on the break, working the left side with Howes eager on the ball. On 18 minutes, Howes did well to set up an opportunity for Milsom, who made a box-to-box run to the edge of the area, and his shot from 18 yards was scooped wide of the left post. Notts County became increasingly direct in their approach, showing little appetite to pass the ball, and the county defence marshalled by Mark O'Brien dealt well with the aerial duels to clear effectively. County worked hard to close down pressing mistakes in midfield, and when they assumed control of the ball, Notts were coaxed into a couple of overzealous challenges, some not forthcoming by the lenient referee. Notts County made efforts to work the ball down the right channel, with Amiobi cleverly shielding the ball, and County had to be alert to deal with a couple of useful crosses. County had a free kick in a decent position on 25 minutes, with Milsom crudely skied down John Lewis, who made a strong run down the middle, but the referee again failed to punish, with no yellow card issued. Moments later, another decent move by County saw them work an opening, with the Notts defence struggling with the efficiency of the move, but Owen Evans blasted over from the left side of the area. News came through that Doncaster had gone ahead at Hartlepool, which lifted the crowd. County ramped up the pressure, with Notts struggling to put two passes together, and County got a penalty on 32 minutes after John Lewis held off a challenge from Duffy and he was caught late. Demetrio stepped up confidently and he dispatched into the left corner, giving the keeper no chance. Notts persisted with a direct approach, with Stead the target man and Amiobi playing more to the channel. County managed the threat of the ball despite some testing balls in behind, which they cleared with conviction, and County had an option to break in on the left flank, which they worked well. Deep in first half injury time, County created a slick move on the left side, with Butler initiating a pass forward to Bird. He whipped in a decisive ball, a searching cross which Pipe anticipated well with a late run into the area, but his header was well read by keeper Colin. Notts County came out with more conviction in the early stages of the second half, with some better cohesion, and they were awarded a couple of free kicks in decent positions. On 48 minutes, Grant got a cheap free kick after O'Brien got the wrong side of the challenge. Grant took the resulting free kick, curling his effort wide and just high of the right post. County maintained their approach to win their duels, and when they got the ball down they looked effective and capable of extending their lead, with Randall making some useful runs forward into the box. On 52 minutes, Randall was quick to snap up the second ball around the edge of the area, only for his snapshot to be blocked by Dickinson. John Lewis continued to cause problems with his strength on the ball and ability to brush off a challenge. On 58 minutes, John Lewis went close after an individual run on the left side of the area, and when the ball sat up, he struck a volley on the turn just over from an acute angle. Notts County made a double substitution soon after, with ex-Leeds striker Smith replacing Howes in midfield and Bowler replacing Dickinson at left back. On 62 minutes, County went close, with Bird manufacturing a shot out of nothing when he hit a rasping volley from 35 yards that fizzed just over the bar. Notts were energised by their changes, and more decisive movement down the middle later paid dividends, although there was an element of luck to it. Amiobi carried his run down the middle to link with Stead, and despite losing possession, the ball appeared to ricochet off Bennett and into the path of Grant, who was able to slot into the left corner from 10 yards. Notts were roused by the goal, forcing the issue more with some patience to their passing game, and Smith coordinated some moves in and around the area. On 66 minutes, Notts created a slick move across the face of the area, with Smith finding Grant, who drilled a low effort that Day read well low down. Notts were keen to work the right flank, but County had a decent opportunity to punish gaps in behind when John Lewis stole in to latch onto a good header by Bird down the left flank. The ball sat up high on the firm surface, but John Lewis hit his powerful effort over the bar from 18 yards. County made a double substitution on 72 minutes, with Jackson replacing John Lewis and Rigg replacing Randall. Notts continued to probe away with a more patient passing game, and Labadie was booked for a late challenge on Bowler as he drove down the left flank. Smith was then booked for Notts for dissent in contesting a decision. With news filtering through the crowd that Hartlepool had equalised, the crowd became a little subdued, but County continued to probe away, but Notts were able to get some important interventions in. On 82 minutes, Stead was again causing problems with a run cutting inside, and he dragged a low effort from 25 yards wide of the right post. County were put under severe pressure soon after, with news that Hartlepool were now ahead against Doncaster, and they were forced to gamble and push on, with Williams replacing Owen Evans in midfield. On 85 minutes, Rigg had a decent opportunity when he sliced down the middle and fended off a challenge by Milson, but dragged his effort well wide of the left post. County pushed defender Mark O'Brien forward in the closing stages, with the League 2 future hanging by a thread. Notts were forced to defend deeply, with County putting in some crosses from out wide, but the ball was marshalled to safety. On 89 minutes, County swept forward with a counter down the right side, with Pipe taking the ball to the right side of the area. He adjusted across the ball with his left foot, and the delivery was menacing, deflecting off Jackson into the path of O'Brien. He chested the ball down instantly and thrashed an immaculate volley into the right corner from 8 yards, giving the keeper no chance, and the ground erupted. County had an anxious 7 minutes of injury time, but the closest Notts County came was when right back Claxton made a bold raid down the right flank, but his shot was wide of the right post. County did well to hold the ball in corners deep into injury time, and the final whistle, the ground exploded with the mother of all celebrations. And here's the player ratings by Mark Vickery. Day 7. Didn't have that many clear-cut efforts to deal with, but claimed well under pressure from direct balls into the box. Kicked and handled well throughout. Pipe 8. Drove the side especially late on. At the heart of both goals was bold, exploiting space, and let little goal side seeing his tackles early and made some good headers. O'Brien 9. Gobbled up a lot of the direct play with some brilliant headers and brave tackling to stifle the threats. Went up front late on and took the decisive goal superbly. Butler 7. Has a decent first half, initiating several decent moves with John Lewis in tandem. Was forced back second half with threat employed by Smith and Hewitt. Demetriou did well with his headers and got the ball safe when needed, clearing a lot of the danger in behind. Was a nuisance on set pieces and an excellent penalty. Bennett 7. Generally dealt with the direct play well, and although a bit indecisive, quelling some of the runs down the middle, he was effective with his distribution. Labadie 7. Combative, had a decent first half, got the ball quick and shifted it on well to keep moves flowing, forced back deeper in the second half and had less influence. Owen Evans 7. Worked tirelessly carrying runs box to box, and for an hour he was on his game. Tackled well but lost impact after Notts County changes in the middle. Randall 7. Pulled the strings for a time in the first half and was efficient and tidy with his passing. Made several runs to ghost into the area which went unnoticed. John Lewis 8. Showed no effect from his injury but faded early. Useful outlet left side and penetrated deep inside area, recycling the ball well. went close a couple of times inside the box. Bird, 7. Won some good headers to link with John Lewis, but did his best work defensively on stifling set pieces. Worked hard off the ball, but restricted to shots outside the area. And a roundup of the game. Man of the match, Mark O'Brien, went to a brick wall with several challenges, brilliant in the air and gave assurance from side to push on. Superb control and execution on the goal. If you were Michael Flynn, what would you do? He has galvanised the team since Graham Westley left his post, and his record of 7 wins from 11 games says it all. County couldn't hide and had to be bold and brave, face their weaknesses, but the key was installing belief, which he has done. The side has also become mentally tougher under Flynn and been more organised across the pitch, with the defence organised, the midfield not shying away from their responsibilities to control and influence the game, and more flexibility up front. With little over 5 minutes left today, things look very grim, but a team that never say die responded. It has been that attitude which has got County safe, because there was no room to manoeuvre, and the manager has taken pressure off the players well when things went against them. The great escape is complete, and the next stage will be building and adding to this side to play at Rodney Parade, where the surface cannot be guaranteed to be sweet all season.